All right, welcome back to MetFlex and Chill. I'm here with Brendan Ruh. Did I say that right?
Absolutely.
I just asked you. I always do that. I'm so excited you're here. Why don't you tell our listeners who you are? Well, give us a little bit of your background and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm Brendan Ruh. I'm the founder of Santa Cruz Medicinals and more recently Santa Cruz Paleo. And Santa Cruz Medicinals is a CBD company. We make extremely potent CBD products. And what I've sort of tried to do with that company is blend ancestral health and keto dieting and paleo diet, which I live and breathe myself, with the benefits of CBD, which have been huge for me and so many others. So we're just trying to get that out to people, and that's kind of our goal there.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited to chat about all things CBD today. I've obviously used your products, and I feel like we've known each other probably I don't know, it's been over a year at least.
Yeah, you've been following us for a while. Yeah, from
Yeah.
the early days. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely from when you first started, and I think you only had maybe one or two products, and now you have
Yep.
a whole suite, which we can definitely chat about that because it's super, super interesting. But yeah, do you want to, we talked about this offline, but I have a bunch of questions from listeners,
Yep.
all about CBD. So I figured maybe we can just dive into those. And before we dive into those, can you just give a quick background just in case someone listening doesn't know, what exactly is CBD?
Absolutely. So CBD does come from the cannabis sativa plant, which is cannabis and hemp. So it's the same plant. Hemp is typically the male version, so you're not going to get those big flowers, which are kind of the cannabis, the marijuana plant, which you can get high off of. And in cannabis, there's two main chemical components, and that's CBD and THC. So CBD is where most of the medical benefits of cannabis come from. When we talk about medical cannabis, and it's a huge topic nowadays, and it's legal in many states, most of the medical benefits do come from CBD. I'm a huge fan of THC. We live here in California where it's legal. But CBD is cannabidiol. You'll also hear it referred to as that. And it's one of the major compounds in cannabis, pretty much. That's a good little summary of it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Just in case. I mean, I feel like a lot of people know about it. And, has it been 2 years about when it kind of it became legal everywhere, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, pretty much. So the kind of legal history of CBD, because that's a question we get a lot as well, is it legal in my state? What's the legality of it? There is not an official ruling, and we're waiting on one from the FDA or whatever happens on CBD products and supplements. But, the way government is, they've pretty much allowed it, right? It's in CVS, it's in all these stores. There's something called the Farm Bill, which made hemp legal and its extracts. So if you have CBD with no THC or below 0.3% is the actual amount that you're allowed to have, then it is legal to possess. There are some states that have some odd laws. I think Alabama was one of them. Texas recently changed their laws to be more friendly to allow some kind of business. So in general, CBD is completely legal. You can get it shipped right from your door. You can buy it at your local gas station, which I do not recommend doing. We'll get into why not to do that. And it's legal, and it appears to just be getting more and more legal as cannabis itself becomes completely legal in more states.
Cool. Okay, so actually that's one of the first questions that someone asked. What is the difference between CBD and THC, which I think you
right
are.
THC is psychoactive. THC will get you high. That is where all the psychoactive properties come from in cannabis. CBD has no psychoactive effect. So, and what that means is CBD won't get you high. They say coffee has no psychoactive effect, but there's certainly an effect from coffee, right? Or taking a supplement like L-theanine or valerian. Those aren't psychoactive, but they're definitely going to have an effect on you. And we'll get into dosages of CBD and how they might affect you. THC gets you high. There is benefits to that for a lot of people. And that is why we have the legal cannabis in California, Colorado, a bunch of other states. And there does also appear in some studies to be an entourage effect of the cannabinoids. So there's a bunch of cannabinoids. There's hundreds of cannabinoids. for the sake of, our conversation today, we'll talk about CBD and THC mostly, but there are tons of cannabinoids that branch off that. So there's CBG, THCA, which isn't psychoactive, but it's a THC cannabinoid, THCV, and these are all being discovered and studied right now. Because cannabis has been illegal for so long, it has been extremely hard to study CBD and THC. And that's just, this as someone who's researched nutrition, it's hard to get a study done on something, right? So if you're waiting on a study to be done for everything that you do for your body, you're going to be just left behind a little bit. It's how it is. Takes a lot of money, time. So that is another thing that we have been running into with cannabinoids in general, is that there needs to be more research done on them, but the research that is out there is super exciting.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So let's dive into a few of the other ones. So you talked about dosing. So why don't we chat? Actually, let me go in order, because if I go out of order, I'm going to lose.
No.
I already went out of order with that first question.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you look for if you're looking for a quality CBD products? So like what, and then the second part was like, what types are best?
Absolutely. So this is why we started this company. How it started, I was working in a lab at a large cannabis extraction company in California, still one of the largest extraction companies, where they would take the raw plant, they get kind of the oil from it, and that's basically what they do. So from there, I looked at, CBD, and I was studying medical anthropology at UC Santa Cruz. So, and just, getting into ancestral eating and biohacking, whatever you want to call it. And you start hearing about CBD just as like a cure-all, end-all, and you're like, is this for real? Like, what's going on here? And when you look up some of the studies that have been done on CBD, there are some amazing studies out there done on humans. There's not just like mice and rat studies. There are human studies, and they show, there's one about public speaking. If you just Google CBD and public speaking study. And when reading those, I'm like, okay, this is really cool. I want to try it. The dosages that they're using are 200 milligrams, 300 milligrams, 600 milligrams in that public speaking study. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me go buy some CBD. You go to the store and those dosages just don't exist. You're talking a whole container containing 1,000 milligrams, like a 50, 60-day supply. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. Is there a way to get the dosages needed? And then you look into it and they're just not out there. And then furthermore, with working in that lab, we had a really good relationship with SC Labs, which is a lab in California that tests cannabis products. So to sell a cannabis product in California, you have to get it lab tested. So they're the premier cannabinoid testing lab. So me and my buddy, we started buying CBD products and sending them to this lab. What came back is what you can also look up online. Other people have done this. Some of the products came back with no CBD. They came back with pesticides, heavy metals. A few came back good, like, okay, this is what they say that's in there, but many did not. So that's what led us to be like, okay, can we make a product has the right potent dose that's supported in the research studies, and can it be affordable? And so we got a little creative with the business structuring, and we've done that.
Awesome. So let's get into kind of like the dosing, because that is the next question on the list. And so I'm going in order here, but like what would be, like, does the dosing differ from person to person? Can we kind of chat about that?
Absolutely. I mean, it's done by weight, is most of these studies referencing, and there's actually a really good 2019 paper. And if you type in, if you want to look it up, if anybody wants to nerd out, you can look up a systemic review of cannabidiol dosing in clinical populations. And that's just like a meta-analysis of a lot of different studies on CBD. And what it says in that paper is that CBD appears to offer a wide range of activity between 1 and 50 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. So kilograms usually, I just divide by 2. I know it's like 2.2, but just for, easy sake. So you don't want to be taking 10 milligrams of CBD. If you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to want to do an 100 milligram dose. And that's just going to be scratching the surface there, honestly. So what I like to tell people is take your body weight, divide by 2, and start with that dose. Just see how you feel off that. You can definitely up it from there, but in some of these studies, we'll get into the question of can you take too much CBD? in some of these studies, they're giving people 1,000 milligrams, 2,000 milligrams. And at 2,000 milligrams, in some of the studies, people do experience headaches or fatigue. So, but that's an insane dosage. I don't take that much, and I have plenty of CBD products all around me at all times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say a couple hundred milligrams is what I tell people.
Okay. So start with half your body weight.
Yeah, I think that's a
in
great.
pounds though.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, in
Okay.
pounds. Yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And then the study that you mentioned, I'll link that in the show notes. So if anybody wants to check that out. It was a systematic review, you said?
Yeah, I'll send you
Okay.
the PubMed link, and it's a long paper, but
Yeah.
it's cool. Yeah. It's a good
Awesome.
study.
Sweet. All right. I'll definitely link that. And then the next question was, and this is something that I think a lot of people get a little bit confused about too, and even myself when I first started, diving into CBD. But the question is, if you don't feel anything, is it still working?
Right. So yeah, a lot of people, they'll take CBD and they expect, because it's branded so much with cannabis, they'll be like, okay, this is going to get me a little bit high or something. It won't. You could take a CBD product that has some THC in it, and you'll definitely feel it. You'll get high. Most people, when they take CBD, they're not going to feel high or any psychoactive effects anyway. Many people, and this is also supported by research, do experience some relaxation or like drowsiness, some people report at high doses. So that is definitely something to take note of. But I do take CBD in the morning with my coffee. That's what I'm always blasting out on Instagram. I think it's like the most amazing thing. Coffee gives me kind of that jittery feeling, but like I love it. I love coffee. So blending in like 100 milligrams of CBD in the morning with my coffee just makes like it perfect for me. Like I just get all the creative, energy benefits of coffee, but I'm like smooth sailing, like my hand isn't shaking. So if you're not feeling like, if you don't feel it when you take it, it's still having an effect on your endocannabinoid system overall. Much like, a lot of adaptogens would, like turmeric would, right? If you take your first turmeric pill, is your knee pain going to go away? No, but you have to, if you're someone who has pain or anxiety, you have to attack it from all angles. And this is something as a health coach. Like, if you could prescribe somebody, hey, take turmeric and they'll be good, you would, you wouldn't have a job. Nobody would be doing anything. Getting well, you have to combine a bunch of different stuff. And I'm trying to coach people on that, on like the Instagram. Like, they'll be like, will CBD fix my shoulder pain? I get a lot of injuries. I do a lot of stuff. When I get an injury, I'm attacking it from all angles. How's your sleep? How's your nutrition, your hydration, your movement? And CBD, I think, is one of the best supplements if you're somebody who takes supplements to take overall. So that's usually what I like to tell people when they're like, will it have an immediate effect? Probably not, but you might start to notice, you're pushing the ball in the right direction with some high doses for sure.
Okay, cool. And then you did mention the endocannabinoid system, and just in case, anybody listening doesn't know what that is, and it is like kind of a newer term, and so not that many people know what that is. Can you explain it a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Endocannabinoid system, you have CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors. These have been identified. CB2 receptors are more in the immune system and in the gut. CB1 receptors are all around the body. So there's still a lot of research that needs to be done on this, but what they have figured out is you have an endocannabinoid system, and it can be stimulated through exercise or cannabinoid supplementation, which is through, CBD, CBG, THCV. For example, you'll get your endocannabinoid system will be stimulated through something like exercise. They're also researching chocolate. There's a theobromine in chocolate appears to have some impact on the endocannabinoid system. And it's something that needs to be researched, but if from preliminary studies, people that have depression, severe anxiety, they appear to have an underactive endocannabinoid system, and throwing in some of these things can definitely help. It's an important system in the body, so and CBD does bind with those CB1 and CB2 receptors, so yeah, important stuff.
Cool. And then this is just one of my questions that I just thought about, but how there's like different strains of THC, or like is that the same with CBD or no? Like, are there different types
Yeah,
or
no,
strains?
that's an very interesting thing. So the whole Indica Sativa thing, right, with THC, turns out that is sort of bullshit in a way, and I'll explain to you why that is. And SC Labs has a lot of good info on this. When you have the actual plant in cannabis, what it's made of, what makes it a different strain, is the terpene profile. And terpenes are like, when you smell lavender, that's terpenes coming off there. Lavandin is a terpene. When you smell lime, limonene is another terpene. You can look up, you can just Google terpene wheel, and it'll have all the terpenes right there. So those are that's what's going to make that different cannabis plant have a different effect on you. Different terpenes have been researched for anxiety, for sleep, for hunger. So if you have a plant that is more limonene based, that appears to have more of a sativa-like effect on people because it's been researched to be like energizing, kind of more stimulating versus like that couch lock feel that people get. So indica and sativa is a general way to describe the terpene profile of a plant. So with CBD, if you buy CBD flower, which there is, like you can buy stuff that looks like cannabis, but it doesn't really have the THC in it, then that kind of strain and terpene profile will have an effect. What we do is we use a broad spectrum oil or the isolated CBD because we don't want to have any THC in our stuff at all. And the reason being, people get drug tested, and we'll talk about that. And people just in general are looking at this as, how do I get my CBD, right? They'll probably go somewhere else for their THC. So it doesn't really have an effect on our oil or isolate because that terpene profile isn't there. Also, when you consume something orally, those terpenes don't survive in the gut. So all that terpene effect that I talked about with cannabis is through inhalation, vaping, smoking flower and stuff, which has a bunch of benefits on its own. But yeah, with our stuff, not a big effect.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Did not know that.
It's cool. And it's an emerging science. It's it's interesting stuff.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Next question. We did that one. Okay. So does CBD have anti-inflammatory properties?
So there's again a lot of good research on this, and I'll tell you the name of my favorite study on CBD and inflammation because it's like a very, very big study. So it's a 2010 PubMed paper called Cannabinoids as Novel Anti-Inflammatory Drugs. And this is actually a paper researching if they can basically use CBD to replace some of these anti-inflammatory drugs because Tylenol, Advil, those are pretty dangerous, as you and I know, to the gut, to the liver. They work, they're effective in a lot of ways, but the damage that they cause, people are looking for other solutions there. And the study has a conclusion of the observations made indicate that targeting cannabinoid receptor interactions may constitute a novel window of opportunity to treat inflammatory and autoimmune disorders. As CB2 receptors are primarily expressed on immune cells, targeting these CB2 receptors may result in selective immunomodulation without overt toxicity. So basically they're saying there appears to be some effect on CB2 receptors and inflammation. And this is why CBD, you're going to see it skyrocket over the next couple of years, especially if we get federal decriminalizations. There's no like gray area in CBD. It's so safe to consume that it's such a better option than a lot of other anti-inflammatories. The risk reward there is a pretty high reward, very low risk with a good CBD product.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the thing with the anti-inflammatories, like you said, aspirin and Advil and Aleve, it's like people just pop those like nothing. Yeah. Like I know, like I was I went to school. I got my undergrad in athletic training, and in grad school, I worked as an athletic trainer while I got my master's in nutrition, exercise physiology, and literally like my entire kit, or athletic training kit is what they call it. It just has like all these different, little pill things. And even when I was growing up too, it's like, oh, you have a headache, take an Advil, right? And it's just like,
Of course.
now, like, I look back on that, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah, it's wild. It really is. And you know, like my parents' generation for sure is just like so in that. It's wild. Like, you know, my mom and dad are always like, "Oh, just take some Tylenol, Advil."
yeah,
Like, I don't want the reduced like glutathione. I don't want liver damage. I don't want what that's going to do to my gut lining. Like, you know, you have to look at the body as a whole. And
yeah,
me personally, when I get a little injury or something flares up, I'm doing high dose CBD. I'm doing turmeric, collagen. I'm getting in the sauna. There's other ways you can attack inflammation that
yeah.
aren't going to ruin your gut lining and all that.
Yeah, for sure. And like whenever, especially when it comes to like headaches, right? It's like I have a headache, so I'm going to, take an Advil, but for a headache, like there's something going on there. Like you don't just have a
Yeah,
headache. There's something like going on that you need to address, and the Advil is kind of just putting a Band-Aid on it. So anyway, that's a whole other conversation, but it's just crazy to me that I think back on, growing up literally and taking Advil
I
all
know.
the time.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't do that, what would be like, I'd probably be so much better off. But anyway, okay, cool. So the next question is, will it show up on a job drug screening test?
Yes. So CBD can cause false positives. It shouldn't show up because we do lab tests at 0% THC. We don't put anything out there that would be above 0.3% THC. We don't even use raw ingredients that have above that. So we're never going to have those levels of THC, but it's been shown to have a possibility to cause a false positive in a drug test. I wouldn't risk it. That's what I tell people. If you have a job that's like strictly drug testing you, I would not risk it at all. And we can't guarantee that you'll pass a drug test. It's wild to me that people still get drug tested for cannabis. That's another topic. There is a bill to federally decriminalize cannabis, which should have a big impact on drug testing in the workplace. Yeah, it's a tough one because,
Yeah.
I have people that DM me, hey, I drive a truck, 80 hours a week and I get drug tested a lot. Will this show up? And we can't really give them a definitive answer. I have to say, like, be careful. It can cause a false positive and I might just lost a customer, but I'd rather they keep their
Yeah.
job and
Yeah, for sure. And then also, like you mentioned, like make sure you know where you're getting it from and getting like a
absolutely.
reputable source that's been tested, not like
Absolutely. Because
at a gas station, like you
yeah,
said.
yeah. So if you're taking a product that has never been lab tested and they do throw some THC in there, you're at a way higher risk of popping hot on a drug test for sure.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's a problem with products that aren't lab tested. The bigger problem and what's going on right now is pesticides. We
Mhm.
test for pesticides. Heavy metals have gotten a lot of press and like CBD and some supplements, and so we test for heavy metals. But pesticides are really important. And right now in California, we have our legal cannabis system, right? Like you can go into a store here and buy cannabis, and that's
Mhm.
Prop 64 in California. To sell a product legally in California, you have to get it tested for pesticides, a full pesticide panel in cannabis. We're doing that for our CBD products. We don't have
Mhm.
to. We're just doing it because we don't want to put anything with pesticides out there. And just when you look up like health effects, like heavy metals are terrible and all that stuff. But consuming pesticides is very bad. So
Yeah.
yeah, we are pesticide free, and that's and our raw CBD that we use is more expensive because of that. So if you are someone in the CBD industry trying to make a quick buck, and I get email offers sometimes of, hey, we have this CBD isolate. It's really dirt cheap. It's dirt cheap for a reason.
Yeah.
It's bad quality. So you definitely have to be careful on what you're buying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense too. Like usually you get what you pay for, and
Absolutely.
the higher quality stuff is just like food, right? And
For sure.
unless you're
Yep.
growing it in your backyard, which obviously, or your garden, which is obviously probably the most ideal, but yeah, you get what you pay for. So
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
awesome.
it's like, there's all these things right now about avocado oil in the United States having, some brands just putting canola oil mixed with avocado
Mhm.
oil. So like, I'm going to spend the $10 on a Primal Kitchen avocado oil.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's avocado oil. It's not, So
Yeah.
yeah, you want to get what you pay for. It's your hard-earned
Mhm.
money. So it's important.
Yeah, for sure. Completely agree. And then we did kind of talk about, well, you mentioned this, but someone said, can you take too much? If so, what does that look like? For example, just really sleepy, or can it actually like harm your organs or your body or anything like that?
Yeah, they've done studies again where people have taken thousands of milligrams of CBD, reporting no adverse effects other than slight headaches and drowsiness. Okay, there was some study going around. You got to be careful who's blasting stuff out. Looking who's backing it, but that CBD had some liver toxicity. That study, they were literally blasting mice with like thousands and thousands of milligrams of CBD. I don't think, from my understanding, that they had liver toxicity due to CBD. I just think they had liver toxicity just being blasted with any compound on it's a mouse, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be interested to see who funded that study. But from personal experience, I have all this CBD around me. I like biohacking. I have taken thousands of milligrams before. I've taken 2,000 milligrams of CBD. I got pretty drowsy. Not like falling over, like you took like a sleeping pill or something, but I was tired. I'm not going to hit a workout after that. So again, people aren't really taking that amount. We have a lot of customers who will take like 500, 600 milligrams throughout the whole day. I typically take like 400 milligrams throughout the day. Just I'm putting a little bit in my coffee. I'll take like our adaptogenic mushrooms. I'll take our deep sleep capsules at night. I usually have a tincture around. Like this is like a 6,000 milligram tincture right under the tongue. That would be 100 milligrams per full dropper. So I'll like accrue, throughout the day, a couple hundred milligrams, and I'm, working out during the day and everything. It won't make you like fall asleep. And then, we can get into the other question of like what other botanicals do when combined with CBD to create some of those effects.
Yeah, why don't we jump to that one, because it's actually like right here. So it's vitamins, minerals, and or herbal supplements known to improve CBD function? ? It's kind of like
So what we started with at Santa Cruz Medicinals is just simply, and fat, by the way, helps CBD absorb. Okay, this is cannabinoids love fat. For example, if you got a little bud of marijuana, right? You just ate it. You would not get high at all. You could eat all the weed in the world, you won't get high. The reason being, it needs to bind with fat it needs to heat up a little bit, bind with fat, and then if you eat that thing, maybe mix with some heated up peanut butter or coconut oil, you'll get very high, right? So it activates the cannabinoids. So we started with, let's make keto formulas with high quality fats and just CBD. So CBD coconut oil, CBD olive oil, CBD MCT oil is what we started with. That was like the first line of like, let's get this to people simple. I just know a lot of keto people, so let's get that out there. Then we started learning about just kind of supplement manufacturing through making these products. And I just wanted to experiment with CBD in different compounds. So we started with a CBD nootropic. Then we added a CBD adaptogenic mushroom formula. And we just hold the same principles in Santa Cruz Medicinals with the sourcing of those individual ingredients. So when I built the adaptogenic mushroom formula, we have 1,000 milligrams of lion's mane. We have 500 milligrams of cordyceps, 500 milligrams of reishi per serving. Reason being, we just want to hold the same principles. Lion's mane doesn't do shit if you take 10 milligrams of it. And people make like mushroom chocolates now and stuff, like lion's mane chocolate. And it's cool. I love it. I'll buy that at Erewhon or wherever. If I'm there, like, okay, yeah, I'll eat it. I know it's not, but it's like, to really get the effect, and when you look at the studies, you're going to need a higher dose. So that's the main thing. Do certain compounds interact with CBD? We don't know yet. I would love to sit here and tell you, oh, when you take valerian and CBD, it has a magical like effect. I don't think so. I think when in our deep sleep formula, which is our best seller, we use the highest quality source valerian you can get. It's expensive. There's different tiers of valerian, just like with any other supplement. When I tried some of the lower tier ones, the cheaper ones, I did get some of that grogginess the next day. Didn't feel just on point. When we use the source of valerian that we use, I feel great. I don't think CBD and valerian are like doing some magical thing together. I think the valerian that we use is really, really good. And we have L-theanine in there as well. So L-theanine is just great for sleep. And then we have CBD. I just think you're taking all those things and they're each doing their thing. but yeah, the quality matters, and that's with Santa Cruz Medicinals. That's what we're doing. Every ingredient that we source, we're just like, okay, how do we get the best source of reishi mushroom or whatever it is?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it all just comes back to like being educated on these things and the awareness of it, because it just like the entire supplement industry, like you said, like they can just put like 10 milligrams of this, 5 milligrams on that, put the name on the label, and people are like, oh, this has it in there, but then they have no idea that you have to
Proprietary
have,
blends and stuff, and then you look into it and it just has nothing in it, and it's tough, I mean, people want affordability, and what we've done to make our products more affordable is we have 2 people on our team. We have me and my buddy Joe. Okay, that is like the team here. We're doing direct, you hear all these podcast ads like, we're making, designer sunglasses affordable because we're going direct to consumer. I mean, that's what we're doing with CBD. We're not sold in many stores. We have people that buy from us and they'll resell in their stores, and we have a few grocery stores and stuff that stock our stuff. But we're not able to really do that because we can't mark our products half off and sell to a distributor. We're already cutting the prices almost as low as we can for consumers. And we don't stack up money to spend on marketing and advertising. We let it grow through word of mouth because people are like, hey, I can get 20,000 milligrams of CBD for $250 from this company. And they'll tell somebody about that. And we believe in that. And it's worked so far.
Awesome. Yeah. And we talked about this. I followed you guys since you started. And I feel like, I mean, and we can talk about some of the other products you've been coming out with. We'll do that at the end because I want to hear about some of the food products that you've been coming out with.
Yeah, Santa Cruz Paleo is exciting stuff.
Yeah. So we have a few questions left. So let's get through those first. Okay, so we did that one. Okay, the next one is, I've read CBD helps with IBS. Is this true?
So I saw that question. I was like, oh my God, should I remove it? Because it's like, we're not allowed to make medical claims.
Yeah.
But what I will tell that person is in that same 2010 paper titled Cannabinoids as Novel Anti-Inflammatory Drugs, there is a whole section on inflammation and the different cellular pathways that are activated in the intestinal tract. So then it goes into how CB1 receptors have been shown to be expressed in the human ileum and colon, and the number of CB1 cells was significantly increased in that area in the gut. So that would be fascinating to look into. If I was someone with IBS, I would read that paper and definitely try some CBD. Again, risk reward here. Some of those other IBS drugs have a lot of side effects. If you take CBD and it doesn't help your IBS, then okay, you've probably just, helped your inflammation a little bit, or so yeah, again, risk reward here. And that's why we offer like stuff like the 1,500 milligram tinctures, which are extreme. They're like $34 with a promo code, and they're going to last you a while. So you can kind of dip your toe into the water with CBD and try it out. So yeah, we can't make medical claims, but I'll send you links to those studies, and they should read those, because if people are researching it, there's probably something to it, and you can read those studies and make your own conclusions. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely link those in the show notes so people can check them out. And then the next question, I guess this is kind of related to that as well. It's not related to that, but someone asked, is it helpful for adrenal fatigue?
Yeah. So I like to, refer to CBD as an adaptogen, right? When we talk about an adaptogen, it's something that's going to help you, because for me, CBD does help me sleep, and it also helps me focus in the morning. With that, we have so many people that do experience like adrenal fatigue. I'm sure you see people with adrenal fatigue all the time, and the first thing you're asking them is, how is your sleep? If your sleep is on point and you get some nutrition stuff dialed in, that adrenal fatigue with a couple months of consecutive dialed in sleep, and the other regular stuff of health, of are you eliminating sugar, sleeping well, light movement, all that, you'll probably see a big benefit there. Again, our sleep formula is our best seller for a reason. I take it every single night. I built the sleep formula so it could be something that I could take every single night. We built it without melatonin. I'm not a fan of people who take, I'm not a fan of taking melatonin.
You're not a fan of people who take melatonin.
Yeah, take melatonin every night, not a fan of you. But I mean, a lot of people do, and
Yeah.
I just think melatonin, taking melatonin every single night doesn't seem like a good idea to me. Your body produces its own melatonin. I want to support my natural like expression of melatonin. If I'm traveling, maybe I'll take melatonin to adjust to a time zone. But we made this without melatonin. We made it so you won't wake up drowsy, but you'll get that kind of like eyes heavy feeling. Like you'll get like the amazing deep sleep that you kind of crave, and that can have its own, sleep can have tremendous benefits on adrenal fatigue. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I ran out of it last week, but I've been taking your deep sleep. I don't take it every night, but nights when I'm like, when I can't turn off my brain and I'm just like, or if I had like a little bit of caffeine, like too late in the day.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like that 2 p.m. cup of coffee does it for me sometimes. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And same. I'm like sensitive to that. I don't understand people who can just, I mean, I do understand it because everybody reacts to caffeine differently, but like, people who can just have an espresso shot right before bed.
Don't
I'm
get
like,
that at all. I have a buddy who can do that. It's crazy.
yeah.
I'm done if I do that. Deep sleep caps won't save me then.
Yeah, same. Cool. But yeah, definitely. That's probably one of like for your products, I probably use that the most. And then I will put some of the MCT oil one, like I think that was probably one of your first products was the MCT oil CBD, like you mentioned. So I'll do that, a little bit of that in my coffee. But yeah, huge fan of the deep sleep formula for sure. Okay, so 2 more questions. Someone said, is it good to cycle CBD?
I don't cycle. I just kind of take a little bit every day. I haven't seen any research about cycling, but say you want to try our products, but you're on like a budget and you want to maybe see how it feels on it and off it, go for it. I'm definitely not opposed to cycling it. I know some kind of biohacking friends who cycle all their supplements, and I have some friends that take a lot of supplements and do a lot of biohacks, and they'll stop it all for a week and then go back right to their kind of supplement cabinet. And I think that's interesting. I think there's some hormesis, the general adaptation to stress in the body. So I think it could be a good thing to stop it for a little bit and come back to it. But I haven't seen any research about cycling CBD or any benefits of cycling it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I think this is our last question. We didn't talk about this, but someone asked, have you heard about anyone getting really bad headaches from taking CBD?
I haven't, I mean, once in a blue moon, we'll get somebody that emails us like, hey, I tried 2 of your products. I didn't feel good or whatever. And I refund them right away. They don't need to return the product or anything like that. So if somebody does have an adverse reaction to it, don't take it and, send me a DM or email. We'll refund you right away. But I don't get too much of that. I mean, if anything, a lot of our customers use CBD for headaches. So that's what I hear more of. Again, there are some studies showing at really high doses that some of the people in that group got headaches. So, but you're talking thousands of milligrams. But everyone's body is different, right? And again, like what I always stress, and I shouldn't be saying this to somebody who runs a CBD company, but CBD is not a cure-all, end-all, and nothing is. Anybody telling you that one thing of health is going to be a cure-all, end-all is just lying to you. There's no possible way that CBD is going to cure your injury or cure your anxiety. It's not going to. Curing something, helping something is going to be from multiple angles of attacking it: nutrition, sleep, movement, supplementation. So do all those things. And, it's just one of those things. It's like, if you're going to take turmeric and magnesium, you should probably look into CBD. You just should. It's an amazing, amazing compound. Cure all, end all, definitely not.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And that's what this show is kind of about. Like, it's called MetFlex and Chill. It's all about metabolic flexibility, which some people just hear that word. Some people hear that word and they don't even know what it means. Some people hear the word and they just think about like nutrition wise, or like how your body processes carbs and fats and all of that. But I kind of look at it, and this is why I've rebranded my business to MetFLEXLIFE, is that it's just all of these different things that I've learned like over the years of, being in the nutrition space and the fitness space, like they all play into it. Stress management, nutrition, training, supplementation, like all of these things play into it. And it's basically you're setting your body up and your mind to be resilient and flexible,
Yep.
and to be able to fight these different things.
Yeah, that's a huge thing for me, and it's really why I'm passionate about all this stuff. Is I used to not have a body that was resilient, and I was not in good health. And it, I had tons of things where I would go down the wrong rabbit hole of like, oh, I'm gonna try to eat raw, or I did the vegan thing, and it just is a waste of time, and it did not help my health at all. And why I'm so passionate about especially keto, paleo dieting, and gut health and sleep optimization and movement is that is the way to fix the body from multiple angles. And like, I just feel like I've tuned into, like what really does work. And now I'm just trying to spread the word. Because I hate wasting time with stuff in general, in business and whatever it is. And I see people go down these rabbit holes, and it's so tough. And I hate seeing people trying to lose weight, like starving themselves, eating, salad and grains and, sugar, fruit juices and shit. It's just, that's a bummer to me. So that's why I'm also using this as a platform to kind of push people in the right nutrition direction, in my opinion. Because it helps, and it's nice and easy, and I eat delicious food, and so yeah.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so before we get into a few of your new products, I do have two kind of like personal questions, not personal, kind of personal. Sure. Putting you on the spot here though. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I actually asked this question a lot. So if you've listened to the show already, you've probably heard it, but what is something that you've changed your mind about in the last year, and why?
Yes. So one thing I've changed my mind about in the last year is when starting this business, I wanted to fix a lot of the issue. Okay. So like a couple of things about our business that are interesting. We run out of stock of products a lot, right? Okay. There are two reasons companies run out of stock of products. One is you are Adidas and you run out of Yeezys because you have a bunch of Yeezy shoes in a warehouse and you want to create that false demand. They don't have issues with money making the shoes, okay? Another reason you run out of stock of products is you have your products extremely affordable. We literally sell products, so you order the product, we ship it to you. We have to gather the money, make a new batch, and then we get them back on the website. And what we were looking at is like, do we raise a bunch of money so we can, not run out of stock, launch products, faster, like really just like explosive growth, right? And that's what most companies do. We have a little bit of success. Let's raise a bunch of money, and that will never run out of stock. We'll be able to add a bunch of products and just grow. And we decided to not do that. We've stayed completely self-funded. I originally was like, I want to raise money and just like grow this company as much as I can. I've changed my mind about that completely. When doing that, you sacrifice stuff. If you bring on people that invest in your company, they want to make money. They'd want to raise prices. They'd want to, hey, you could, every CBD brand sells less milligrams for more money. You could do this. Why don't you make a sugar-filled gummy? They sell the best. When you take people's money, you have to listen to them. That's one thing that we decided to not do. And I love it. I'm glad about it. We're growing fine. People understand when we run out of stock, and I don't care. I think the slow growth overall, and we're growing well, we're doing fine. But that's one thing I'm changing my mind about, and that's kind of a business thing. So I don't know, like, this isn't like a business podcast.
No, that's
I love it. Yeah, that's something I've changed my mind about for sure.
Cool. I love it. Okay, last question. Is there anything you've personally been experimenting with or implemented lately in your own nutrition, fitness, lifestyle that you've noticed benefits from?
Yeah. The main thing is I got my own sauna, and I got it before COVID hit. Thank God, because I never sold out of saunas because everybody can't go to their gym. Heat and cold therapy, especially sauna for me, has been the most revolutionary thing I've done for my health. It's something I do almost every single night. I kind of was like, oh, I could get a new car or just like rock old Subaru and get a sauna. And it's not, it's a couple of grand. Like it's not a cheap thing, but I love it. I have one of those barrel saunas outdoor. I get home, I turn it on, and I just sit in there 20, 25 minutes, a very hot sauna. And that has been unbelievable for my health. I have a bunch of friends over. We get in the sauna, so you get that kind of community aspect of it. One of the best things I bought. I'm so glad I did not like get a new car or like some other deal. Like, well worth it for sure.
Yeah, super jealous. I live in an apartment, which I know I could probably put one in here, or one of the like the single, not the barrel, obviously.
The sunlight ones.
Yeah. Yeah, but I rent, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But super jealous because I've always wanted a sauna, at least the
Yeah,
last few years.
well, the thing is, like in San Diego, you throw a rock, you'll hit a gym with a sauna. But right now,
the gym I go to, it doesn't even have a sauna, so it's like an old school, like rusty barbells. I love it though. Like it's I love the atmosphere. Awesome. All right. So before we kind of wrap up, do you want to tell us a little bit more? So you kind of mentioned some of the products we talked about, but are there any products like that you've recently come out with that you want to tell us about, and then anything on the horizon that you can chat about or share?
Absolutely. I'll give like a little rundown of some of our products with Santa Cruz Medicinals, then I'll briefly talk about Santa Cruz Paleo. So with Santa Cruz Medicinals, people are often like, where do I start? I like to divide it up into a few things. If you're like a bulletproof coffee person in the morning, like you're blending MCT oil into your coffee, start out with the MCT, or make a CBD infused stevia. So you could start with that if you use stevia in your coffee. With that, our stevia is water soluble, so you need a little more than normal stevia, but some of those stevias, just be careful what kind of stevia you're buying. It's the way they extract it. Use a good brand if you're just using normal stevia. So that's a good place to start. If you're somebody who takes just like supplements, like you're like, all right, in the morning I take like my fish oil and stuff like that. We make 3,000 milligram soft gels. Those are just CBD in a soft gel. They are gelatin, so if you're vegan, vegetarian, they have gelatin. So you can take a few of those. They're 30 milligrams of soft gels. So you could take 3 or 4, see how that dose feels. If you need multiple doses throughout the day, try a tincture. That's like, and you can blend these into coffee and mix them into your drink, get creative and fun with like the recipes. So we have a whole line of tinctures, which are made with hemp oil and CBD, broad spectrum CBD. And then we have topical products. So we have pain salve, pain roll-on, and this CBD infused whipped tallow, which is actually my favorite. And that's for like any type of injuries or soreness is what I use it for. So get a little injury, rub some CBD on and see how you feel. Just a nice thing to have around. And then that's a good place to start. We have like more expensive products like our CBG coconut oil. If you want to research CBG and that's something you want to take, we do have the highest dose CBG product on the whole market. And that's pretty much what we have going there. We're going to come out with like an Epsom salt. So you can do like CBD baths, which is really nice. But again, we didn't want to do a 10 milligram bath bomb. We want to go higher dose. So and then what we just launched, our sister company is Santa Cruz Paleo. And with that, how that kind of started is we go mountain biking a lot and hiking. And my buddy was like, here, try this. And it was a trail mix that he made with, roasted nuts from Whole Foods and Lily's stevia sweetened chocolate chips. And it was so good, so good. I'm eating it. And I look at, the bag and the nuts are roasted in canola oil. I'm like, damn, like, whatever, not the end of the world. I'm like, okay. But we're like, wait, so are there any, we go into Whole Foods and we're like, all right, there must be nuts roasted in coconut oil or something. Nothing. Every single trail mix, canola oil, just a nightmare. So we sourced on our own a custom blend of nuts roasted in coconut oil. And then we sourced high quality stevia sweetened chocolate chips. And we do these big bags of this trail mix. And it's so good. We do like roasted hazelnut specifically in the mix. And so like it tastes like Nutella, honestly, when you're eating it. And I
need to get some of that.
It's so good. Like what I do is I kind of do some intermittent fasting during the day. So I have my morning coffee. It has collagen protein. And then I don't really eat till I have like steak, or whatever that big dinner is at like 6. So I need like that 1 p.m., just like not a lot of food, just like a little bit. And it is the perfect midday, like keto snack or on the go or in the car. Just, you get minerals. We have, sea salt on the nuts. So you're getting like minerals, protein, healthy fats, no sugar. I love it. And then we're coming out with these keto and paleo cookies, donuts, brownies with the best ingredients ever. Like no BS, because there's other brands out there and they have horrible ingredients. Like, yeah, it's keto, but I don't like milk protein isolate, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just not into that. And then we made a non-infused deep sleep capsule, so they don't have CBD in them. We went with lemon flower and or passion flower and lemon balm in them, and that's for just people who they don't want CBD, or maybe they get drug tested and they're like, darn, I can't use these. They can try those deep sleep capsules. They work wonders, and they're really affordable because CBD is the most expensive ingredient.
Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, that's what we're doing there. We're going to be launching some cool stuff there.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I definitely need to check.
Yeah, I'll send you a bag.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds really good. Making me hungry.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I just learned so much. And I feel like I say that at the end of every podcast, but I always learn something at the end of the podcast. That's why I love doing this. But definitely CBD was like, I didn't know a lot of, like, these are all the questions that I had as well. But I think you answered them, and I'll definitely link all of the studies. So shoot me those over and I'll link those in the show notes so people can check them out. But do you want to just tell everybody where they can find you, your website, social media, all that stuff?
Absolutely. So our website's scmedicinals.com. You can go there, and then before you go there, visit our Instagram at Santa Cruz Medicinals, and we're always doing cool deals, cool promo codes. I got to make you a promo code, I think, so you can send it out to some people.
Okay.
And yeah, and then Santa Cruz Paleo _ but just type in Santa Cruz Paleo on Instagram and we'll pop up there. And that is santacruzpaleo.com. And yeah, that's where you can find it. If you DM me on Santa Cruz Medicinals, I respond. So anybody listening to this, if they have any specific questions, just DM me there. I check every single one. I'll get back to everybody on there. And yeah, that is where you can find us.
Awesome. So would it be cool to use METFLEXLIFE as the promo code?
Absolutely.
For anybody listening to this?
Yeah, okay. I can make that, and I'll make it 15% off and free shipping.
Sweet. All right. Well, if you're listening and you want to try out any of the Santa Cruz medicinal products, you can use METFLEXLIFE for 15% off. I sound like a complete ad. That was not even the intention. But anyway, sweet. Awesome. All right. Well, that was, again, learned so much. And thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. And yeah, do you have anything else you want to share before we go?
I think that's it. I really appreciate it. I think you're getting the right message out there to people. And, I just want people around me to be healthy and happy. And I think the information that you put out is just the right way to do it. So I love it. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
See ya. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.